The French Open champion is hoping to make up for her crushing loss to Garbine Muguruza at the same tournament 12 months ago. World number 1 Simona Halep is hoping that this year's final at the Western and Southern Open will not be a case of deja vu for her. The French Open champion reached her second consecutive final of the season after dismissing Belarus Aryna Sabalenka 6-3, 6-4. A player who scored wins over Karolina Pliskova, Garcia and Madison Keys earlier in the week. Despite only producing 6 winners in the match, Halep's defensive play at times frazzled her up-and-down opponent. Sabalenka hit 30 winners but also 36 unforced errors. It's tough to fix a plan and to go there to make it because she's a very powerful opponent. You have just to adjust yourself there on court, Halep said following her win. She's hitting the ball very strong. The serve was huge. It was a really tough one. But I stayed there. I stayed focused. I tried to stop missing and just to push her back. I tried to return, and I think I did it pretty well. I'm happy that I could go through this one. Halep now has a chance to win the Cincinnati trophy for the second year in the world. In 2017, she suffered one of the heaviest defeats of her professional career. Taking on Spain's Garbine Muguruza in the final, Halep was crushed 6-1, 6-0. When the Romanian was asked what she remembered about that loss, she stated that she has blocked that match from her memory. Since that one-sided loss, Halep has bounced back by reaching the final of 6 WTA tournament, including her maiden Grand Slam triumph at the French Open. She is now on a 10-match winning streak after winning the Canadian Open last week. A resurgence she partly attributes to that loss to Muguruza. After that 2017 Cincinnati final, I said that I will not give up like that and I will not let the pressure to dominate me. She explained. So I changed that, and I feel that I can control those moments and those feelings better. Bertens next. On Sunday, Halep will lock horns with Dutch player Bertens. The 26-year-old bounced back from a set-down to defeat Petra Kvitova 3-6, 6-4, 6-2, in her semi-final match. Bertens has managed to establish herself as one of the most informed players on the WTA Tour. Within the past 2 weeks, she has scored 5 wins over top 10 players. An impressive tally for a player who had never defeated a member of the top 10 on a hard court prior to this month. I think that's going to be a great match, Bertens said during her press conference. Halep is playing some great tennis. Won of course last week. She's having her shots there. I'm really happy that I'm in this final. For me, it doesn't matter who's gonna win. Halep leads Bertens 3-1 in their head-to-head. Scoring straight sets wins over the world number 17 at Wimbledon in 2016 and at the Italian Open last year. Their first meeting dates back to a 2010 ITF $100,000 tournament in Torhout, Belgium. I know she hits flat. She hits, like, low, very low balls, Halep commented about Bertens' play. She's serving well. So I will try just to keep the attention on myself and to do my game. The women's final will get underway at 1400 local time on Sunday, 1900 Greenwich Mean Time. Roger Federer wants to see more best-of-5 set tournaments and doesn't understand why they disappeared from the main tour as he prepares for his semi-final match with David Goffin in Cincinnati. Roger Federer, Zimbio.com. Roger Federer has explained his desire for best-of-5 sets to return at some of the regular ATP tournaments as he reaches the semi-finals in Cincinnati. The world number 2 reached the last 4 by edging out his compatriot Stan Wawrinka 6-7, 2-7, 6-6, 6-2 in a highly competitive contest. The win was his second of the day as he set up a semi-final meeting with David Goffin after the Belgian defeated Juan Martín del Potro in 2 tie-breaks. After his epic win, the 20-time Grand Slam champion was asked about the new Davis Cup reforms, which lead to him reaffirming his position on wanting more best-out-of-5 set matches on the ATP World Tour. 37-year-old claimed that he wants to see the format back at the ATP World Tour Finals in the future. I'm for more five-setters from time to time at some key events, starting with the World Tour Finals. I think the finals has to be best of 5, Federer explained. I was in the voting room when it happened, and all the players were for best of 3. I couldn't believe it. I was the last guy to vote, so it was, like, well, it doesn't matter what I say anymore, because all the other players voted for best of 3. That was back in Shanghai in '06. I'm not sure how long ago it was now. Federer's opinion is certainly interesting considering what Novak Djokovic said the other day about wanting the Grand Slams to go to best of 3 sets instead of best of 5 sets. It is clear that Federer would like to see best of 5 sets to return to at least the World Tour Finals. The Swiss legend also had his say on the new Davis Cup reforms and explained that, it is a sad day but he is all for innovation to help the tournament grow. So for me, I don't know, I feel sad about it, you know, not to have the Davis Cup as it used to be. Will never be the same, Federer stated. But clearly the ITF has never historically involved the players, but the federations, yeah, we are kind of there but we are actually not there. I just hope that every penny will be paid of that massive money that has been paid for the next generation, because we have seen a similar situation way back when with the tour and it set us back in a big way. I don't want that to happen again, but look, I'm all for innovation, and gotta give them a chance to some extent. It will be interesting to see how it's going to work. It is clear that Federer feels that the Davis Cup needed changing but now wants to see if the ITF can use their money and the correct money and fund talent for future generations. However, for now, Federer is focusing on his business on the court and will face David Goffin in the last 4 of Cincinnati at 7 p.m. local time. Simona Halep targets her second final in a row, and Novak Djokovic is a win away from his first Masters 1000 final in 15 months. The tournament is back on schedule despite the rain, and the semi-finals are set for Saturday. Simona Halep vs Aryna Sabalenka. What a week for 20-year-old Aryna Sabalenka. Much like Stefanos Tsitsipas last week, Sabalenka has pulled off upset after upset in this draw. Coming off her victory over Caroline Wozniacki last week, she's now defeated 4 current or former top 10 players this week: Karolina Pliskova, Garcia, and Keys. And in 2 of those matches, she saved match points. Yesterday was actually her most comfortable win of the week, her only straight-set victory in this tournament, over Madison Keys. At the same time, Simona Halep deserves quite the applause for getting through to her second straight semifinal in a second consecutive week of rain delays. Halep won 2 matches on Friday, and economically so in straight sets. As Chris Fowler of ESPN highlighted, Simona would become the first woman to win a back-to-back weeks in Canada and Cincinnati if she prevails this week. Halep easily won her only previous meeting against Sabalenka, at the beginning of this year in Shenzhen. But as her coach Darren Cahill spoke about on EPSN on Friday, he was impressed with Sabalenka's power and potential during that match. The experience and defensive edge held by Halep should get her through this, but count out Sabalenka this week at your own peril. In the final on Sunday, the winner here will play the winner of Petra Kvitova and Kiki Bertens. Marin Cilic vs Novak Djokovic. Djokovic has owned Cilic throughout their careers, at least until recently. Novak won their first 14 matches, but Marin has taken their last 2. Cilic finally got Djokovic at the Paris Masters in 2016, and then saved match point and came back from a set down to defeat him in the final at Queen's Club in June of this year. Djokovic of course has upped his level since that match, winning his 13th major at Wimbledon. And just yesterday, he played his best match of the summer hard court season against Milos Raonic. The Canadian had an early break in each of the 3 sets they played, but Novak found a way back in 2 of those 3 sets despite some huge serving from Milos. Cilic is also heating up nicely this summer. He made the quarters last week in Toronto, where he dominated Nadal in their opening set before Rafa found a way into the match. And Cilic played his best match of this week yesterday in defeating Pablo Carreño Busta in straights. If Marin were to win this title, he'd be seated within the top 4 at the US Open, which would considerably improve his place in the draw. Can he make it 3 in a row against Djokovic? I suspect that will be challenging, as Novak is motivated to win the only Masters 1000 title he doesn't yet own. Whoever wins will meet either Roger Federer or David Goffin tomorrow. Federer is scheduled to meet Stan Wawrinka on Friday night. Roger Federer, Zimbio.com. Roger Federer crisply defeated Leonardo Mayer in his first match since Tuesday, while Stan Wawrinka had no trouble with Martin Fucsovics, setting up an anticipated all-Swiss quarterfinal in Cincinnati. The 7-time champion in the American Midwest won 6-1, 7-6, facing no break points, losing only 4 first serve points and winning 10 straight points in one stretch. He was thoroughly dominant in the first set, holding break point in every return game and losing just 4 points on his own serve. Though Federer failed to capitalize on 3 break chances in Mayer's opening service game, he moved ahead 2 games later when Mayer double faulted on break point. The 20-time Grand Slam champion ran ahead 0-40 at 1-4, then secured a second break when Mayer lashed a forehand wide. Federer then managed an easy service winner on his second set point, closing a 23-minute frame in which he won nearly 60% of return points. Mayer was challenged in his opening service game of the second set but found his form and faced no more break points. Federer, however, remained similarly impenetrable on his own racket, briskly pushing the set to a tie-break. There, Mayer dug in after an opening point double fault and a 2-mini break hole, but Federer aggressively returned a second serve at 6-6 and served out the match with an ensuing ace. It sets up Federer's first single-day doubleheader in 14 years, should the rain hold off and allow Federer and Wawrinka to resume their head-to-head, which the former leads 20-3. It has been a while since I've played 2 matches in one day, Federer said on court. One thing I did is I played a lot of practice twice a day. If I'm not ready for today, I'll never be ready. I'm excited. Wawrinka, meanwhile, had a similarly smooth outing, winning 6-4, 6-3 in a match that had just begun when rain postponed it on Thursday. He had 5 first-set break points before converting a set point after 2 long Fucsovics forehands, closing a set in which he faced no breaks of his own. The second set progressed in similar fashion. An unsuccessful Fucsovics tweener helped Wawrinka secure the lone break he needed, and the Swiss star served out the match at love.